excited to announce that we have a new sponsor for this podcast, DOVOH Laser Levels. This is a great option for anybody that is doing construction, doing tile work. If you need to laser level something, this might be the laser level that you want. DOVOH Laser Levels. They have 4-plane lasers, they have 3-plane lasers. We're using the 4-plane laser. It's a great tool to get everything level, to get everything plumb, and to really dial in your work. So click on the link in the description, go to DOVOH Laser and buy one of their lasers.
You'll be supporting the show.
Let me scoot my chair out, boat scooting boogie.
It's Ben and Jason from Hamilton Tile. You're watching the Hamilton Tile podcast, and this is where you get an insight into the lives and the business of two owner-operator tradesmen in the 21st century. Welcome. How's it going today, Jason?
It's going good. Nice day out today, not too hot, nice and sunny out. And just did a flood test and go back to my house and working my porch we've been building.
Yeah. So what's the flood test like? That we're working over here in Sandy Springs, Georgia, and we just put together a shower. So what's the flood test?
Well, it's essentially what it sounds like. You just fill it up with water and you just wait. Just let it, make sure it holds water. It's the only way to make sure something holds water is put water in it. So it's a step that is skipped by many, but it's probably one of the most important steps because, again, how else do you know if your shower is going to hold water? And you don't want to find that out after you're done. You want to find out now because if, God forbid, we do find a leak, it's a relatively easy fix right now.
Yeah, so no tiles on the wall, nothing on the wall, or the floor. It's just the tile, water, and waterproofed. And we're waterproofing with 8+9 and a membrane. I've been releasing some videos about waterproofing, talking smack about Red Guard, which is pretty easy to do. That's how we waterproof with basically we're using the Ardex system with 8+9 and their TLT board, which is pretty bulletproof. I like it because if you had to smash a tile off, you could. Whereas Curdy, when people have to make a repair or modify something and smash a tile off, man, you're dreading it because you're doing surgery.
You're more than likely taking the membrane with you. I was never ready to do it, but
I have.
I know how well
I
it
do.
sticks to 8+9 sticks to Curdy, so you could probably do it and not take the membrane off the substrate. And even if you did, it's repairable it's more repairable because you've got that layer of waterproofing underneath it to attach to.
Yeah, well listen, when was it? In February I worked on a job doing marble, and we put marble hexes on a shower pan. The shower pan had heat under it, so I packed the shower pan. We made the shower pan, had heat going into a curbless pan, and the homeowner bought a Schluter Tileable drain. I cannot advise people strongly enough not to get the Schluter Tileable drain because it's just not that fancy. Like, I would expect at minimum to have some sort of border going around the tile section of the tile section and
Yeah, I've never liked that.
And the exterior section like a Flow FX drain has. The Schluter drain, you just mount the Schluter Tileable drain. You just mount the tile on top of this mounting plate, and the edge that you cut is where the water goes in. And we put this tileable drain in, and it just looked like garbage, hot garbage. And I recommended that we take it out and just put another drain. So this shower was put together with 8+9 and membrane. And I felt totally confident taking those tiles out a couple days later and reinstalling a white Schluter, like I think it was a floral drain instead, and I smashed them out, the marble out, and put in the white floral drain instead. Turned out really nice, way better than the tileable drain, and you know, oh, it's more work. You know, you didn't necessarily have to do that, but it's my work at the end of the day, and I thought that thing looked terrible. It wasn't good, and then like the edges of the tile is kind of hanging on to the plate, and it's just a bad design. What do you think about it?
It's the same thing you do. I've never liked them. And if you get little pieces going around a drain, you have nothing to attach it to. How do you finish the edge? You just cover it with grout. Like, what do you do?
Yeah.
I don't know. It could be refined a little bit more. It's not like it's a bad drain, but it could definitely use some refinement to make it a little bit nicer.
Yeah, a lot of that material was there on the job site for this particular project, and if I wish I had been a little bit more aware of the purchase, because I probably would have, you know, advised against it. But I hadn't put one of those in such a long time. I didn't even think about it until I put it in. I'm like, this thing looks terrible. And yeah, but again, it's the advantage of the 8+9, I think. Unless you've used it, it's not like Redguard. It toughens up. That stuff is sticky.
It's almost like truck bed liner. Is the closest,
truck bed liner,
thing
yeah.
that I could compare it to. It is almost like truck bed liner, but it's still rubbery, and it sticks to everything and anything, you included. Doesn't like to come off your skin once it dries. You gotta. I mean, it's on everything. I've got some on my shorts that's went through the wash. I don't know how many times. It doesn't come off. Yeah, it's just good stuff. You don't really have to worry about thickness, because the sand in it is what basically gauges the material. So, you know, you can put it on pretty much as thick as you want. There is no maximum.
I say it's almost like, what, thin set glue?
Essentially, it's kind of like that.
Because it has the sand in it to make it all.
Yeah, that's the sand. The sand is what gauges the thickness. That's why they just tell you 2 coats. It's really technically waterproof after the first one. They just tell you a second coat just to get any pinholes in case you missed an area or you got a pinhole you don't see. That's the only reason they really tell you to do 2 coats.
Yeah.
Because it's pretty much waterproof at 1. They just belt and suspenders, second coat. Gets any little pinholes we may have missed.
Yeah, so that's pretty much it today is the flood test, and we're gonna go work on his addition at his house and then go back over there. We try to time everything out so we're not starting something big at the end of the week, or like, you know, we got 2 foot by 4 foot tile to set.
Yeah, I was thinking about like, oh, we could start setting, do this today, but then we got the granite people coming Friday. And I don't want to have a floor halfway done and they accidentally drop a tool on the edge and chip a tile, and then we're just all pissed at them, and you know, we got to fix all this stuff. So I'm like, you know what? Nah, we'll just work around my house, do a little bit of work on my patio.
That's general. Yeah.
Fresh after Memorial Day, we can just start setting tile then.
I think that's the advantage of the owner operator, is that we can kind of gauge, you know, like, we don't have to have a hard schedule with a lot of crews and all this stuff to where, oh, we have to get this done to have this. Well, we're just kind of slow and steady wins the race, you know. Turtle in the hare. I made a great video about what I thought was a great video about Aesop's fable, the turtle and the hare, and I used some pictures from the book and an old cartoon, and I just think it's amazing that that's kind of timeless knowledge about how to do things. And look at those squirrels fighting over there. You don't see that. That's amazing.
Well,
they're running after each other.
The hares, yeah, sometimes you'll come out ahead because you're moving faster. Things will go your way, but the faster you go, you're gonna mess up something, and you increase your chances of how much you're gonna mess up. So all those time savings you made, maybe a couple $100 extra bucks, you know, because you got done a little bit quicker because you're, you know, pushing. Well, that one time you make a mistake, there goes all your money that you made on other jobs, and it's all gone.
Well, we're doing what this bathroom here is a super custom. Like, we did the whole bathroom all the way down to the studs. Like, every piece of sheetrock was off the bathroom. We designed it from architectural plans. This homeowner's an architect. He drew up these very detailed plans with picture. What do they call it when they have a picture of the?
It's a rendering.
A rendering, yeah. I should know that. But he has a rendering. It's been incredible working off these plans. And in fact, you know, I would like to do work for people that enjoy this type of like design build. Maybe that's, you know, something we do more. But what did you think about working off the plans?
It's fine. Doesn't matter to me. It's no different than I would normally do. I just normally just have it in my head. I know what I'm going to do. But it's nice to know, like, if the homeowner has it on plans, well, if something's wrong, well, that's what your plan said. So that's on you, buddy.
I don't think most people can work off of a plan. Like if you hire your average, contractor, or tiler, or tile setter. I've been told I'm not supposed to call it a tiler, but tile setter. Most people would say lay tile though, so it's a tile layer. People don't say that.
No, it's not tile. You don't lay tile.
Yeah, I know.
Well, we'll get with it. It's a joke. So
yeah, it hurts your pecker if you lay tile.
Yeah, we'll leave it at that.
No, I said it out loud, so now we're saying it. This is on YouTube. I'll put a warning in the beginning that you don't lay. Yeah, I'll put adult adult humor.
It's funny how people get so bent up over semantics. It is quite comical.
I've never heard that before. I've been saying Tyler forever.
Doesn't matter. I mean, it's just semantics. It's just a regional thing. Oh, I'm not a tiler. I'm a tile setter.
You think so? Regional.
I call myself a tile setter. I'm not. Like it just goes back. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So whatever you want. I'm an asshole. What are you gonna do?
Yeah. But yeah, you've been taking this job from plans to where we are now, waterproofing, about to start tile. We're moved a couple walls. It's definitely, yeah. Did the whole bathroom. We're doing the whole bathrooms. And I know because it's Hamilton tile, people might wonder whether or not we do what exactly are you guys just doing tile? Well, yeah, we did a small job a couple weeks ago where we tiled a patio. It wasn't bad. I mean, that's elementary to us at this point. Like, you're gonna get that lady got a badass patio. It's because it's pretty elementary. Just flooring. But this stuff, like the full bathroom, is kind of where we specialize. So on my marketing on the website, just the view, I added bathroom specialist to the bottom of Hamilton tile. So hopefully people get more of the idea that we're full bathroom remodelers and not just tilers.
It is a specialized thing because you have to really. The reason it's specialized is because you have to think 10 steps ahead. It's not just pull this tile off, stick a new one down. You're only 1 or 2 steps, But yeah, when you do a complex project like that, you basically have to think of everything.
But I've noticed that when we're talking to people about bathrooms, you have a full knowledge of even the different products that you use in the bathroom, like the different filler necks. You could talk about what tubs are best, what fixtures to buy, and fixture placement, and a lot of these experience things where it's just kind of second nature in the bathroom because you've been working there for 20 years or so, where some things there might be a question or people make it up as they go along, whereas it's like this undermount tub. Talk about how you put what an undermount tub is.
It's a tub that just goes underneath the top, basically. It's kind of self-explanatory. Most tubs sit on top of whatever finished deck there is, tile, granite, whatever it is. Undermount is reverse. You just put it underneath so that the top comes over top of it. A little bit more of a modern look. Takes a little bit more planning. Yeah.
Yeah, so what kind of tub did we put under there though?
It was a Kohler Archer.
Kohler.
No, Kohler underscore, not Archer. Kohler underscore. Really nice tub for the money. There's more expensive ones,
but people don't really do undermount tubs. Like all the bathrooms we do, it's not as a common of a thing. So
no,
maybe it's
the second one we've done.
Yeah, it's not a common thing.
No, I mean I don't hate the look. I don't.
But
that's
a good example. That's an example of the planning, though, too, because it seems like on that there's much more planning to build the tub deck to a certain height, to finish out at a certain height, and to have all of it. It's just a kind of a different process to put in an undermount, and I think they look a lot cooler.
You just have less room for error, generally speaking. Well, it's just the reverse of what you're normally thinking. That's all.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily more planning, it's just reverse. You have to be more aware of drain heights and stuff because if a joist is in the way, and that's what we've encountered both times we've done an undermount. We've had to raise the thing up higher than what it should have been because the joist is right in the way. Because you don't have the thickness of the tub deck to kind of give you more height because you're just doing it the reverse of everything, that's all.
Yeah.
You just have to be more aware of a couple things, but...
So these bathrooms are complex with a lot of high-end material, like on this one we're on now is The experience helps because we're putting in basically tile panels, 2 foot by 4 foot, just big tile. So Jason went out and got a new cutter. What is it called? The Ruby something. We like Ruby cutters.
TZ.
Ruby TZ for that. So we're excited to use that. Hopefully make everything much cutting it a lot easier, because we've been in the past we've used grinders up to this point, but it's time because we've been doing more and more large format tile like that. I don't mind setting it, because once we get everything prepped out super flat, like we poured last week and got it pretty super flat, so it should be pretty easy, pretty straightforward to set it. The problem is when you have to adjust things and things aren't in plane and it's not flat and you're trying to
these things.
no, they're big tile.
You're not getting these tiles off the ground.
Yeah,
Once
yeah.
you put it down, they're down. Like, I don't care what anybody says. Like,
And this floor was wonky to where it had the high spot in the middle of the bathroom, and then it sunk down an inch to each side and into the toilet room. And the first bathroom they did, it was marble, and they never really leveled anything. They were adding layers of Detra and adding layers of
quarter-inch cement board,
just all over the place.
They were just trying to.
Yeah, and the marble floor
very
cracked all over the place. But this big tile, you have to have a set process and a procedure. In my opinion, I know guys are sloppy about it, and we just saw we go to Floor and Decor and we're like, who's putting in all these huge tiles? You know they're failing. Well, we went to this house that the lady had remodeled 5 years ago during COVID, so it was a COVID bathroom. 2 foot by 4 foot big tiles, and what was that? Just cracks all over the bathroom floor. Just blown out.
Good chance they're spot bonded, or they're probably done my favorite way. I see everybody do it all the time. They'll spread their trowel. They just put the tile lightly down in it, and they just put the clips on it.
Just clip it and forget it.
They don't work it down. They don't do anything. There was probably some blobs on there, or you've seen it where they spread the trowel, then they put 5 daubs on it. Like, what are you doing? Just pick one or the other. Like, yeah, and then people do all kinds of crazy stuff.
Well, when we first started out, all those years ago, a decade ago, as a tiler, you show up to a job that a builder says is ready. And we've even done it where you got to do what you got to do. Like this, like eventually with our builder, we were like, yeah, we can't put this tile on like this.
The tile kept getting bigger and bigger. It used to be 12 by 12s. Okay, you can make a 12 by 12 work in a small area that's kind of wonky. Yeah, you back troweled twice. And,
but the problem with a job, the problem with a job like that though is the builder will have the tiler come in, the tile setter, and it won't be ready, and the guy will have a couple days scheduled, and he'll just have to like do what he's got to do.
But again, it's worse now because his tiles get bigger and bigger. Again, 10-15 years ago when things are 12 by 12s, you know.
Yeah,
you can get away with a lot more.
But I'm just saying that I'm just happy to be able to control the whole process, so we can flatten stuff out, do stuff right, to make sure that it gets properly done. Because when there's so many hands in the cookie jar, when there's a multiple middlemen involved, and you know they think they know what they're after, like you don't know if it's ready unless you put an 8-foot level on it, and and you put some time into engineering these areas to support these massive tile. And I mean, we got that part covered on this, so it becomes exciting to set the tile even inside the shower. Like the framing was off, like what, an inch and a quarter out of plumb,
unlevel, unplumb, out of plane bathroom we've ever been in. We have spent an exorbitant amount of time getting things like way more than I thought. Like I knew the bathroom was going to be bad because we worked in the other bathroom, but I didn't expect it to be this bad. Like,
yeah, it was pretty bad.
We've just spent
What did you have to like rip? Or you had to rip lumber down, like
yeah, I had to make wedges.
Wedges to put on the face of the
to get them close, so I could use the foam spacer kit. Like, worked out really well instead of trying to make the wedges perfect, which is not going to happen because the stud always goes like this. It's not perfectly straight. So I just got them close enough, within a 1/4 inch, and then the next day, after I glued them onto the face, next day I put the foam spacers on. It actually worked out really well because everybody says, "Oh, just sister next to it." Well, that creates other problems.
Yeah.
And you got pipes in the way, and you get this and that, and like it's taking up space where inset boxes are going to go. So sistering isn't always the best solution. Yeah, sometimes it is. You can just sister new one onto it, but It's not always the end all be all. Same thing as everybody's like, oh, just mud the floor. They would have said that, this is per prime example, this floor, they would have been like, oh, you just mud the floor. Why would you pour that much self-level? Expensive. And number one rebuttal to that I say is, how thick does your mud floor have to be over the high spot? It's about 1.25 inches is what they call for. Now, if you pack it real tight, you can get away with 3/4 to 1 inch, but that's really not what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be about 1.25 inches on average for the whole, for the whole floor. So if we had to go 1.25 inches over our high spot, that floor would have been 3 inches thick at each end, which is fine.
And 1,000 pounds heavier.
But more than that, way heavier, way higher. You're dealing with different. Now you got to deal with door heights and stuff like that. It's just all kinds of things, problems that brings. So like with self-levelers, we can go 1/8 of an inch over the high spot. We could technically zero it out, but that's kind of hard to do because then you got to grind stuff, and it doesn't like to flow when it's thin. So that doesn't always work out too well. But even at 1/8 of an inch, you're pushing it. But we could technically go 1/8 inch over the high spot, and we're fine. You can't do that with mud, especially on a wood floor. Yeah, on a concrete floor where you're bonding it, you can go down to like 3/8, and then you can patch the the remainder. But mud is not the end-all be-all answer to everything. And houses, quite frankly, aren't built to hold the weight up of mud anymore. Again, it's a regional thing. Some areas that use a lot of mud, maybe their houses are designed to handle the weight of mud because it's put into the calculations of when they build a house. But now around here, they're not.
Oh yeah, this thing, the framing on this was like a drunk did it or something. I don't even know.
And it was like that from the get-go because I started questioning, like, did this house move this much? But then as we tore it apart, the door frame was put in plumb, but the rough framing around it was that out of square. So that means it was built that way. It didn't settle, because if it settled that much, the door would be the same amount out of level as the frame.
Yeah.
So this thing was just built this crooked from the get-go. But we've got it decent, and we've got it good enough.
I always think though the point that I make is, and that I think is best for homeowners, is always to find a tiler that can do framing, because that guy's going to know exactly what he needs. Because to have someone that's just a carpenter to try to do that, even the best carpenter is never going to really get that framing to where we need it.
They don't understand. I've had this conversation with plenty of people. Like, they don't, until you try setting a tile that big, you don't understand how flat it really is.
And then if you're a tiler or a tile installer, a tile setter, like, your next skill up should really be like framing and woodwork and carpentry, because that's helped you in your career big time. I've watched the stuff that we do with the carpentry, and it's kind of great to have it all in-house, to where you mess with the framing, we mess with the framing, putting on new plywood, all that. I think this is where builders fail sometimes, is they try to piece it out and give it to the different subs and the different people that are so-called experts in that field, and nobody is really communicating or knows what is actually necessary.
Like I've said before, it's carpenter flat and tile setter flat are two completely different things. Like,
and a tile setter would understand that.
Yeah, a tile setter would understand, because he sets tile. Like I said, you try and put a 2-foot by 4-foot tile on them, or even just a 12 by 24, you quickly realize how important it is to have things flat. Like, it's there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It has to be. Like, there's no making it work.
And then with the then with the big tile too, you really get a lot of these places aren't prepped out like they should be. So what happens then? The tiler has to kind of do an improper tile installation and use improper, wrong tile installation technique in order to get that tile to look right, and that's the danger.
Oh,
Whereas
you just put more mud on it.
Yeah.
No, you can do it to a very small degree. We're talking small degree. Like,
where you can get everything flat and take the gauge side of our trowel and not have to make adjustments, not have to put extra thin, not do wonky, improper tile installation technique. We can stay right by the book, just because it's prepped out nice and flat and in plane and plumb, and things turn out better.
And again, you're going to deal with it regardless.
Yeah.
It has to be a certain level of flatness, whether you do it in the prep stage or you try to do it.
Yeah.
And you're setting tile. It has to be a certain amount of flatness.
So then we're putting up these 2-foot by 4-foot tile walls and floors, and I made a video that's almost at 1 million views on Reels about letting the tiler acquire the tile and pay for the tile and frankly make money on the tile. And there's 400. There's
some of it.
Yeah, there's 400 comments on the video about different ideologies surrounding who provides the material. So one guy says, well, electricians don't let the homeowner get their stuff. Plumbers don't let the homeowner bring their. Why would a tiler allow their? So what happened with this? So this project, 100% of it's on our bill. You know, we're running this project. Tile came through us. What happened with this tile acquisition?
Oh, he went with a different supplier than we normally use, which is fine. Like I used to shop this supplier, but it's not the people we normally use. So somehow they kept sending different die lots, and we would get a run around, a different story each time, and I just couldn't understand why it was such a hard thing to get 300 square feet of tile just with all the numbers matched. Like they even tried giving me some cockamamie story. Oh, I called the manufacturer. They said, oh, those numbers don't really matter. It's just the time. They gave me some weird.
It's interceramic, right?
No, it's a specialty tile.
Specialty.
They gave me some cockamamie excuse. I'm like, if these numbers don't matter, then they don't need to be on here. Like I'm not buying that. I've been doing this for almost freaking 30 years.
Well, we figured, we figure usually if they say specialty, we're like, oh, okay, it's a real tile store.
No, it's a really big,
yeah. So
I used to buy stuff from them.
No problem.
It's a very large, reputable tile store, but like, I don't know. They don't.
So how many trips did we make over there to get this tile?
Way more than we should have.
I think 4 or 5 trips.
No, it was a minimal 3.
And every time we went over there, we show up. We're like, okay, open the pallet. Let's see what they got. What you got? And they would open it, and it would be different die lots. Do you think so? One of the big arguments on the video is like the tile installers say, I don't want to take responsibility for the tile, and that's why I allow the homeowner to purchase the tile. And that fits into what my whole narrative is on this, is that let the tiler buy the tile, make a little money on the tile, and be responsible for it. Because do you think our homeowner would have wanted to be responsible for that tile going back and forth 3 or 4 times?
Well, no, but
it's better. But my point is it better for the homeowner to allow us to handle this part, because it's then our responsibility. That's my point on this video. And many comments from other tile installers feeds into my point. Oh, I let them deal with it, so they're responsible.
It's like, but you're still picking it up. And the homeowner's going to go pick up tile. Like, okay, so prime example, this homeowner, if we let him get the tile, he would have just went and picked it up. And we would have shown up. And, hey, bud, well, these numbers are different. And he'd be like, what? Yeah, that's. I got to charge you $1,200 now because we got to stop work. You know.
Stop work.
We have a clause in our thing. You know, any homeowner supply materials. You know, there's a $1,200 per occurrence. You know, and
yeah, because you have to shut down what you're doing because you have this time scheduled for doing that.
Now, we did get lucky where the tile was ordered soon enough. We didn't need the tile.
Well, because we handled that.
Yeah, because we handled it. Because we didn't need it. So it's like, it didn't. It kind of messed with us a little bit, but it really didn't slow us down. Have them reorder it 2 times and, you know, get it in, you know, whatever. It didn't really affect us. But there's been plenty of times where
yeah, but we handled all that though, and that's why it didn't. Like another
thing. We've never been able to get that.
Another thing to say is that it's not just about like making money off the tile. It's a reasonable percentage that is added to this tile. Like some people think like you double the price of the tile. No, it's hardly worth it actually when something goes south.
It barely covers our time to go pick it up.
Yeah.
That's really all it's doing.
So the real reason for us wanting to handle the tile and for us personally is that less headaches, and we get to you know, handle what we know best and run our system and be able to have a consistent product because we handle all aspects of the job and offer, you know, a warranty as well, to where we're not going to let someone put up crappy tile because that would then we have to warranty that. There's a system.
It's just controlling the outcome.
Controlling the outcome.
That's all we're doing with, because the more you have to control, because otherwise you can't guarantee the results. Like the outcome.
There you go.
That's all it is.
That's what I was trying to say.
Everybody thinks it's you just want to make money. Oh, I'd rather have someone else just go get the tile and me not even mess with it. I hate doing it.
If they were capable.
If they were capable. But it screws you up every single time, just about. So it's like you have to control everything to get a certain outcome with your job. That's how every job in business is. You think Walmart lets other people deliver their crap? No, they have a whole delivery fleet. Like, they have to control every part so they can guarantee that this thing's going to work, in a certain manner. It's just how business works. Again, electricians don't let homeowners buy wire. The homeowner's not going to get the right amount of wire or the right kind or enough. Like, that's just, you have to control as much as humanly possible.
Some of these comments are pretty, as you would expect, like, oh, you're just a scumbag contractor. There's a lot of people in here that are just, I don't know, I think they think things should be free, or I think we provide a good service for what we do. I think, and to be frank, like, when you work for certain people, they don't want to deal with this kind of stuff. Like, anybody that wants to deal with picking up tile probably isn't even our customer. Because generally, I don't want to let anybody do that except me.
I don't want to pick it up.
To save money.
I know
that's all.
They perceive they think they're saving money.
They think they're saving money, and it's like, what does it turn out to be? A couple $100? It's not even. You're not saving money.
In how much
your
time they spend getting it.
No, people don't factor their time.
They don't factor in their own time, so they don't look at it as like, man, I could either be making money somewhere else, or at least having time off and not worrying about it. Like, that has a cost to it. Like, that's the problem. Most people. The main problem is most people are employees. They just know they go to work, they get a paycheck. Right? They don't understand what really goes into that paycheck to get it. So they don't value their time the same. Maybe. But as for us, we have to have people that value what we do. And what is the value in us picking up the tile for the homeowner is that we take responsibility for everything. There's less headaches. You don't have to worry about anything, and that's the whole point. And now, when I make an Instagram video, do I use controversy to kind of get clicks? And I invite any of you guys that are on social media, go ahead and go on a stream of consciousness rant about any topic, and you probably will get some people commenting and clicking and watching your video, because it is quite difficult to just stream of consciousness talk about a topic and not offend somebody. I would want to ask those people to say, I let the homeowner supply a tile, and I would want to ask them. So I know when you do that, homeowners probably messed up the order at some point. This is how it goes.
Right.
What do? Do they just go home for the day and not get paid?
Yeah. No, but Jason, there's a lot of great comments on this thing too, and I love that it's getting so much attention, is because there's a lot of great comments, very common sense comments that people are leaving, that I'm like, yeah, hell yeah, it's good to see. And I want people who click on it because of the controversial title to also maybe look at the other comments and have them think, because every time, every time I put my ass out there with a controversial video, hopefully it helps some tile guy somewhere see that, wow, I should be selling tile. And it's not that. We used to never do it, and you know what? We always had problems. It's not that hard. Go get an account at your local tile store. Send your customers there to pick out their tile. Maybe even find a designer there. We've been working with Cindy at Tile House for a decade. She's been great. We say, hey, go see Cindy at Tile House. Give her a call before you go. Set up an appointment. And this is what I literally say probably 100 times. She acts as your designer and your helper during this process in the hopes that you buy tile there. And then one of us says, just go to Tile House, point at what you want, and that's all you have to do.
Cindy sends me what they picked out, and on a form, and I do all the measurements, I do all the ordering, we do all the pickup.
Yeah, it's
done.
And then we go, like, they know how we work for the last decade. Like, we go to the warehouse. It's all on a pallet. They've already checked all the die lots. They will not. They know how. Like, we're sticklers for that.
No, they just know that period. It's like you're supposed to do. I think these big companies, they hire some knucklehead off the street. They just grab the pallet tile and they just load it up. They don't.
Well, these people, like, it probably comes from the top. Like, if you're assuming you're selling to a homeowner or whatever, I doubt I doubt they care about that. Most of these tile places, they'll probably sell. If they can get it by you, they'll definitely do that. If they can slide it by you.
Yeah, but I guess they do know that when I'm not going to accept it like that. That order especially. I could have made it work because the first order was only 2 boxes. There were different numbers. I mean, I could have put them somewhere else, but no, I'm just not going to take it.
Yeah, we just don't.
This last time they freaking shorted us a box.
But then when you called the homeowner and told him the situation on the first, he agreed. Yeah, don't take them. Remember, we called and he said, don't take them. So yeah, we literally work for people that care about that kind of stuff. And so, yeah, you got to sell like I said, guys, not hard to have an account and sell tile through your tile company. You just have to, just say it and make it part of your program and your system. And we've had no problems with it. And frankly, people will ask about going to Floor and Decor, but ask about going somewhere else. And when they say Floor and Decor, we explain to them about the number one, the benefit is that you can go there and lay your hands on tile and see what it is. And then we explain to them about the many drawbacks about shopping at a place like a wholesaler like Floor and Decor. And
they generally say, "Oh, that sounds great. Yeah, a tile house. That sounds a lot easier."
Yeah, so if you're a tile installer, it is not hard to sell tile, and you guys should be doing it. And then you'd be able to control your final product. That's the big thing for us too. Is like with, all like happy customers is that we're able to do consistent work because have this system in place. And I actually went and saw Tom Reber in Nashville this weekend, Nash Vegas. You know Tom Reber. He's a contractor coach, I guess, contractor personality, kind of like Tony Robbins for contractors. I feel like he's trying to be. And one of the things he's great for is to just get your courage to set your system and stick to it, because it definitely takes courage to do that in the face of a public that really wants to denigrate the contractor and really wants to name the terms and have an asymmetrical relationship with their contractor. And our experience has been great with the people we actually work for, where they want what we're selling, they value us, our skills, and what we provide and what we bring to the table. But most of the public, unfortunately, you're probably not going to work with them if you have a set system. But I also believe that you can name your shot, and you can say, hey, this is who we are, this is what we do, I'm sorry we don't work like that, and here's why. We've had success with that, wouldn't you say?
I mean, it is what it is. It's just, you don't go to Walmart and name your terms.
Yeah,
you don't go to a car. You don't go anywhere and name your terms.
But again, that's because Walmart wants to control the outcome. Is like you buying stuff, leaving the store and using it and being like, we're the same way. We sell tile because we want to control the outcome. And it's easy as that, and that's going to make number next to dollar sign go up. But you need to see, like, I want homeowners, especially that we work for, to see the value in what we do in that part of our system, because there is considerable amount of value for people that have a busy career, a busy life. It's not worth your time farting around with tile.
say what, $200, $400, or whatever. You know, it's not multiple thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
You know, it's just not.
So on that note, we're gonna continue to work on this project. I'm making a bunch of content for this because I just really want to show this because this is very high end. This is a super great job for us, and I think it's going to really display our talents and our business. And appreciate everybody for watching, for listening, for being here, for supporting us online. I hope everybody has a great day. Over and out.